Okay, so carrying on with the Viking, the Gjermundbu helmet. So I've got the ocular piece in. It's all marked up with the scoring. So let's just do a bit of a catch up. I haven't shown too much video of the construction so far because, like I said, this is very similar to the Spangen helm. So with this ocular, what I did is obviously I cut out the shape, I ground the shape on the outside to the right size, to the finer lines. Then with the actual eyepieces, what I've done there is I drilled out holes along the edge. I use a cold chisel to cut them out, and then what I did is I use a file, a decent file, to then file out the inside there to get the right shape. Worth an investment is a decent file, a very good file. Don't skimp on your files, and different sizes. What I've noticed though is don't skimp for these small ones. I know they're cheaper. Rather go all out for a bigger one, such as this one, a nice lengthy one. Another one to use is a round file. Right. So I think two files that I would suggest is a round one like this. These are all bastard cuts, and then a flat file. Another file that I would suggest, if but not necessary at the moment, would be one of these, which is a half circle, I guess, file, also a bastard cut. Those definitely help. You will use that quite a bit to do all the fine filing work on that. It works quite nicely. I used it in edges like this. Then what I did is I used a cold chisel and I punched these lines in. Let's see if I can get a nice close-up. Right, so you can see I punched all of these lines in. So they've just been actually sort of cut into the steel, not all the way through, so it's just more of a decorative piece. And then so this is now how the build is. So as you get this frame, similar on the Spangen, and the frame sits on the outside of the panels, this one's a little bit different. So yeah, the actual frame sits inside and the panel sits on top of it. Then what happens is you have another frame piece which is rather curved that then sits on top of it. What then happens is you rivet these two pieces together and it actually clamps the panel in place. The panel is only fixated with one rivet at the top and then along the brim over here, a few rivets. I think it's 3 rivets along the bottom. So the panels are only connected to the actual brim and then the frame here at the top, and it's just wedged between 2 plates on the side here, which is quite an interesting way to do it. Obviously it's a little bit more complex and tricky to get. So this is now the build so far. I did one test panel like I've shown before. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to refine it, shine it up a little bit with a bit of planishing, and then I'm going to work on to making the other panels. The way I measured this panel is exactly the same way as I showed for the Spangen, with some sticky tape that you put on to get a rough idea, put it on paper, cut it out, transfer it to a nice flat piece of paper, and then cut out a single pattern, see how it goes. Alright, so that's just an update then on this so far. It's looking quite nice. I think it's got a very nice shape to it. I think it's going to look very nice. Great. Right, so the Gjermundbu helm is coming along quite well. I've got all the posts and corners up. It's all riveted together. I've got those holes drilled in. My screws are just not long enough to go through there. And I've got the little spiky for on top. So the spiky I've forged out, and that will go on the top. It's a very small spike, but nonetheless it's going to be there. Right, so just now some fine tuning, trimming a little bit, then it's going to go on to polishing. So you can see sort of how these strips work. Yeah, they're not fitted nicely now, but once you start riveting them in, they'll start fitting. See, there's a strap on the inside that goes through there. There we go, you can see it nicely, and then they strap on the answer. So it wedges it or clamps the panels together. Plus these have rivets on there and then on the top. So the panels are riveted on by 3 points, and then they clamp between these 2 points. Between this one and then the inside one. There you can see nicely again. Right. All I also have to do is I have to put the holes along the side here for the chainmail. There we go. Right. So the Gjermundbu helm is coming up to completion. It's all riveted up, and the liner is in with the chin straps. Normally helmets don't have chin straps. There's a lot of debate about helmets having chin straps. So far what the general consensus is that the period helmets did not have chin straps, and it was just the fit on the helmet plus the weight of the helmet. You know, this one will have an aventail on, will keep it on your head. But this one's got a chin strap. A lot of people nowadays ask for chin straps. Some of it's a requirement. But yeah, there we go. There's the Gjermundbu helm all done up. I am going to just make the liner. I'm going to do the liner with the Spangen helm. So I'm going to make both of them together. And so just to sew that up and then finish this one up. And then it can go to its new home. So yeah, finishing up, I think it was nice. The finish is good. It's got a satin finish to it. Got my little spike on the top. It's difficult. I don't suggest ever putting, you know, spike or sharp points on armor, because things like this can cause harm. If you do, maybe just dull it or something like that. Just for the fact that, you know, if you fall or something, you can severely injure someone like that. Yourself or someone else, you can get injured with that. You know, it's going to happen. You might drop it on your foot, and that thing's going to go with the weight behind you. You're going to have a nice new piercing in your foot. So yeah, so there we go. That's came out quite nice. I'm very happy with it. Got my maker's mark on it right there. So you probably can't see it, but you see my maker's mark there. Yeah, I'm quite chuffed with it. I hope the customer is as well. Quite a sturdy helmet. So yeah,